Sorry, it took me a minute to get in there, guys. Yeah, hold on 1 second. I mean, I think I do. Good question, Daniel. I don't know. Landscape is actually hard to make sure that I have. Most people stream on their phones is the simple answer to that question. So 75% of my audience streams on their phone. So landscape makes it so that the image is small. So they will be less likely to stay on the image. Looks like I'm back here. Alright, good. I'm back. Making a bluebird nest. This is gonna be the roof. Trying to bring some bluebirds around here. I'm just gonna clean up this little mortise here. It slides over, and then I'll attach the roof. And I'll use a Forstner bit to drill a big hole inside so that the little bluebirds can enter the house. I use dowels to hinge this right here. So when the bluebirds, like, you gotta like spruce up their nest or get rid of the old nest before they'll use it. So it's on a dowel. It just opens like this, and then you can go in and clean it out so that the next group of bluebirds will come in and build their nest in there as well. Yeah, I love the birds, man. Big on the birds here. We all love them. Apparently with these bluebird nests you want to have an 1.5 inch wide hole, then drainage holes and ventilation holes. But the first thing I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to clean up this piece of plywood that's going to be used as a roof. I'm going to sharpen chisel than that. I think that chisel needs some sharpening. Got all these scrap pieces of wood around. I just wanted to build something simple on the live that goes along with kind of my vibe, which is I love the bird sounds. I haven't seen many bluebirds around here, so I'd like to draw some bluebirds in with a nest that fits their particular likes, you know. Something I would like to do. I'm working on a Bluebird house right now. J&J, welcome. New subscriber. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, so here, let me show you, JJ. We got this hinge spots. It's got dowels. I put these like 1/2-inch dowels in to the top of this board so it opens so that you can change the bluebird's nest. It's tall because bluebirds build their nests tall, so they like to use a lot of material in their nests. I'm gonna put some shingles on the top. I cut my knuckle today trying to rip shingle. So yeah, that's gonna be the roof. I'm gonna attach that. What I was chiseling out was just a little relief so that the mounting pole would fit around the mounting pole, and that's the way that's gonna be right there. So thanks for being here, and we take it easy here. We don't do anything too fast and furious. Oh yeah, it's every day. You know, when you do stuff like this, you burn yourself, you cut yourself, you scrape yourself. I didn't realize shingles were so vicious. Like I just accidentally, moved my hand a little bit, and the shingle took off a good chunk of skin off my knuckles. Yeah, burnt yesterday, my little burn under the knuckle. I'm good. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna quit because of some little stuff like that. Alright, we got this, and this. What was my next thing I wanted to do? I want to attach the roof to the house, but I think before I do that, I should actually drill the hole. And I'm not gonna do a hole through this side because I'm actually worried that if the birds fly in, and I have a dowel piece inside there to stop the door from swinging inward, right? There's a little piece of dowel in there that kind of stops it. You can see where I put it right here. That was so that it didn't swing in because I didn't build my board to go overlap the bottom. So there's a piece of dowel to stop it. I don't want to build my hole against this wall because I don't want the bird to push on this dowel joinery that I have going on in here, this little dowel hinge. I'd much rather them stress the wall that's solid. So I put an X where I'm going to drill the hole for the bird right there. About 1.5 inches wide. This is a bluebird nest, by the way, just so you know. For those of you just joining us as well. Doing a bluebird nest for the first time. I've never done one of these. This one's tight, but actually bluebirds traditionally build their nests inside of, woodpecker holes and small cutouts inside of trees. So a tight space like that is actually what they want. We got the opening door because bluebirds need you to take the nest out so that the next group can build a fresh nest in there. They like to have a fresh nest, and that's where we are today. That's what we're doing today. But let me clamp this down and put this hole in the side here. Like this. I want y'all to be able to see it. It's got to go in nice and straight too. It's like anytime you use a Forstner bit, you want to make sure that you're drilling. And my bench is not exactly straight here. I probably need to go like this with a pointer. What it does, it makes my cuts uneven. I'm gonna shim under it. I got a shim under there. I'm gonna clamp that down relatively tight. That's one that's completely solid when I go through this. Take my microphone off and tuck it over here for a minute. See, this is a Forstner bit, not a hole saw bit, right? It's cutting an actual plug, a circle out, not just the circle, but the entire surface area of the circle is also removed. Can y'all see? Or am I too far up? Let me see when I start. My thing's on a delay. Oh yeah, you can see. Let me find that hole in. I want to make sure I'm close to a 90-degree angle here. This clamp wants to come. And then you can see when you get through, you have a clean hole like this. Maybe not a clean workbench, but you got a clean hole. The hole to the side. That's why Forstner bits are a great tool to have around. Now that would generally be done if somebody's like a professional woodworker. They're probably doing that with a drill press, you know. They're just gonna pull the machine down, it's gonna drill the hole down and pull the machine out. And that's nice, but we don't have those, right? We're regular guys here. Regular dads in our own dad's workshops where we don't have drill presses. We got basic tools, right? You got a drill press or a Forstner bit, J&J. Must have been some blowout in the back. Looks like a little bit, but it's okay though. You see, a Forstner bit's gonna cut a clean circle in there, and this is about the right size for a bluebird to get in and out of the nest. You know, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build a bluebird nest. If that hole is a little too small, I'll take a sander or a jigsaw. You know, we'll go in there and file it out. But I think that's pretty good. I measure it. It needs to be about an inch and a half. And it is about an inch and a half in diameter. Again, a Forstner bit will take out the surface area of the circle as well. And that's what you want. You don't want a hole saw bit, right? A hole saw is just going to take the circle, you're going to have to punch it out. And it's going to be not very clean. We've got other Forstner bits we're going to use today to make the ventilation holes. I've got a 3/8 one I want to use for that. So. Oh, welcome lumber tracks. I love sawmills, man. Sawmills are my favorite thing in the world. Right now I'm trying to find somebody to mill me some boards to make another bed. So check out my channel, Lumber Tracks. Welcome to the live stream. We do a lot with, right now we're using conventional lumber, but of course we love sawmill lumber here, man. And talk about sawyers in here a lot. So welcome to the channel, man. You're in the right place. Let me twist my camera around real quick and show you the bed that we're making. Kind of give you an idea of why I could use a lumber mill. So you see this is a traditionally joined bunk bed here that I built out of conventional lumber that I joined, sometimes side joined.
So if I had a lumber mill service, you know, I could order these boards, you know, locally and get exactly the dimensions I'm looking for. But we worked pretty well with what we could find. And the whole thing has no nails, no screws, no pins, and we did it with no plans. So we're real proud of that here at Dad's Workshop. But welcome, Lumber Tracks. Appreciate you being here. Definitely join the Discord because there's a lot of people there that would like appreciate the input of a lumber mill. All right, so now we got our hole in the side of our little bluebird nest here. We are going to, I'm gonna trace the bottom of this roof here against the plywood that I have. And I'm gonna pre-drill some stuff in there. Love the lumber mills, man. You got me thinking about having a lumber mill. Yeah, definitely. Build a bunk bed, hit record. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I just hit record all the time. That's what I do here. I build stuff, hit record, build some more stuff. Hit record and build stuff. That's what we do. That's right. That's right, Daniel. Friend of the show, Daniel. Always got good input. James A, new friend of the show. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Make sure to click that like button and subscribe button. We're here every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5:30. Next week, gonna be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to be spending some time with my kids on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's kind of hard to run a live stream. All right, we got a little. I think this is a 3/8 Forstner bit here. This is the 1.5" Forstner bit I used to make entrance hole for the little bird. Before I attach this roof, I'm gonna put some breathing holes in here, some ventilation holes, just in random spots. Probably something through the bottom is good. Let's clamp this now. I'll go through the bottom. Also need a bench vise here too, man, badly. I'm trying to do stuff that, like sideways, that you should really do vertically. Hopefully this hole is good enough to get a vent hole in here. Alright, so that's about a 3/8 vent hole right there. They say you want some ventilation in a drainage hole. I might put one on the other side. I just don't want too much aeration because the birds want to get in there because it's cozy and warm. As long as there's a little bit of ventilation there, I think that hole will provide drainage. There's also, it's not watertight at the bottom, so this should be okay for that. That one hole is good for me. And then we're going to attach this roof, so if our stock on sides is 3/4 inch thick, and I have it kind of mapped out on here, we just, let me look at that one side, doesn't look very good. Doesn't matter that much here. I mean, definitely here in these areas. Welcome everybody to Dad's Workshop. I'm not too sure about bluebirds. I'm not an expert on bluebirds. Miss Heather, if you're on, can you do some bluebird research for us and let us know when bluebirds nest? It would take a year probably for them to use this house. I know this house is not going to instantly attract a bluebird. I want them around because I don't see them that often here, and I know they're in the area. But you have to have nesting sites for them to come around. It's a countersink bit right here. I'm going to use Robertson screws. And we've kind of got it laid out. I just want to make sure that I'm this is not really, I want to call this measure twice, cut once. I just want to make sure I'm kind of in the right area here. That'll be inside these lines. 3/4 of an inch. I'm missing a pretty important tool right now, and that's my I wonder if you guys can even hear me. Missing a pretty important tool right now. It's not missing, but I'm not having it right now. And that's my what do you call it? Marking gauge. My marking gauge is somewhere around here. Don't know where it is at the moment. I just know that within these lines that I put on here, it's about 3/4 of an inch. So as long as I don't go outside that, I'll probably be all right. I'll put a mark on my stock here, 3/4 of an inch in from that line, and just draw a line straight down. Doesn't need to be perfect, probably. It's better. The more accurate it is, the better. But as long as it's pretty close, that's pretty close. Now, I'm gonna put my screws. Probably down, say 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches down on center there. 1.5 inches down on center. And there. Plant this stock down there. Got a big knot in the middle of this piece here. I want to put it over this opening in my bench because I want to go all the way down into it here. Remember, I got a countersinking bit. Do you all want me to zoom in on this? No pigeons. Yeah, we got the cardinals. You know, I have a mockingbird. I have my own. It's not like my mockingbird, but she owns me, so I do have a mockingbird companion. So I do care for the birds. I love the birds. I like them to stay in nature, but sometimes they sneak in. I'm just gonna kiss the countersink a little bit. Let me show y'all what that looks like. When I countersink that, I'm just gonna kiss it with the countersink bit just a little bit there. So that because it's plywood, it's not super thick. We want to make sure that we leave some support wood there. So you can see my mark on the other side. I might do it from here so you can see better. Just gonna kiss it with the thing on the top of the countersink. Down there, and then boom. And that's enough. That's probably enough right there to support it. Probably we'll glue it up too. Probably a good idea to glue it. And we always aim for as close to perfection as we can get here.
And then if we end up with mediocrity, we don't trip, right? We don't trip on mediocrity. Seems like those are centered. It's a little tricky here. But yeah, it seems like those are gonna work. I actually want to take my bit and put some pilot holes through into the wood. That one looks a little bit far to the right. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know if that one there to the right is on. I think I should have put that closer to that end line right there. I might have to drill another one. Or it has to be centered like that. Yeah, that's not great. It's okay because we still need ventilation anyway. Yeah, that's too close to the edge. This one over here is fine. This is what I'll do. I'm gonna move it down and then put two more in there. And I have to plug those. If I have to plug those up, this is the things you do when you have ADHD and you do these kind of precise tasks. You gotta sometimes check yourself. You don't want to do it again. Unfortunately, this hole right here is too far to this side. I should have put it closer to here, but I was trying to stay away from that knot. So bring it back. We'll do two more. Those will be ventilation holes. We're gonna put we're gonna put shingles on here, so you probably won't even see these holes. This one's okay, so we'll call that one all right. This one over here is too far to the right. Needed to be more like right here. So I'm gonna redo those. Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. You know, I've actually already thought about wasps building their nests in here. I'm already worried about that. Ahead of you on worry. That's why the bluebird nests are cool, because you can open them up, you know. Y'all know I don't care about this bench. I do the best I can now, and sometimes I'm gonna tear right into it. Yeah, that's gonna be right there. Alright, that probably hit the microphone. Apologize for that. I don't know where my shorter Robinson bit is right now. I have a number of them. I'm going to start with this long one for the moment. It's an epic fail if it goes all the way through. Well, not an epic fail, but it's a fail. Tell you something about Calvin Seaton. Sometimes Calvin Seaton succeeds magnificently. Other times, he fails miserably. But he just keeps going, man. Don't like to be told I can't do stuff either. There we go.
All right, so now we got our house kind of constructed here. Hopefully this moves now. Well, that is tricky because I might have to install a screw right here so that I can pop this open. Let me see what I can do. Or I'll put a dowel in so it could be opened up with a dowel. Because right now I can't get the roof, the board here in the front is being held by the roof. It's these little things you find out later. This is kind of a lighter shank on it though. So what I need to do is probably take a dowel and put it in there. But you see it opens up. You got an air hole in the bottom. You have a hole for the bird to enter on the side. Chilling, man, doing bird stuff. Chilling, doing Bluebird stuff up in here in Dad's workshop. Closes. I'll replace this screw with a dowel because it's just sexier like that. Let's sand this thing down a little bit. Let me put this little pole on it. So see kind of ugly marks from the warehouse where the wood came from here. We're just chilling, building Bluebird bungalows. Love the consonation there, building Bluebird bungalows. Bunk beds and Bluebird bungalows. Pat Sajak said that was right for $40,000. The lumber mill guy disappeared. I don't want any bluebirds getting splinters on this either. You know what else we're going to do with this? We're going to just slather this thing with beeswax and boil linseed oil so that it doesn't absorb water, you know. I mean, we could put Thompson's on it, but I like beeswax better. Interesting, my numbers said my audience basically is gone by 6 or 6:30. You know, learning these things a little bit every day. And what makes it a bluebird house is the ability of the nest to be tall. Bluebirds like a tall, stacked up nest. Google it. Google a bluebird. You will find out that I'm accurate with that statement. Statement is accurate. I'm trying to get some bluebirds around here. You gotta build a nest. If you want blueberries, you gotta put it in the bush. You know? I always like a bird in hand, you know, beats two in the bush.
J&J, I'm thinking of, but J&J said, what kind of finish am I thinking of? I'm thinking about putting wax on this too, J&J, just like what you saw yesterday. Beeswax mixed with linseed oil, because it's not chemical, it won't affect the birds. I'm not using a petroleum distillate, so it shouldn't poison the birds, and it should keep it nice and waterproof. I could probably wax in these two holes that I cut wrong, and they'll probably fill up with that too. So, answer, I think beeswax and boiled linseed oil. What do you think? What do you all want? What should I finish it with? I also have I have some linseed oil, tongue oil, and citrus solvent over here too, in another container that I could use on it. This is going to be kind of tricky, but I'd like to take this piece of dowel off too. I got my razor saw back. See if I can do it just with the edge of this razor saw. We've got much space there. Look. Worked. Looks clean too. I like the way it looks. My favorite razor saw, dude. Whatever company, I can't read Japanese, so whatever company makes this, man, it's the one. My son found this at my parents' place. So you got like a side, you can almost use these razor saws like flush cut saws. You see it made a good clean cut off there. So I swear by those things. Milk paint, I got some milk paint here, but I don't think I have enough to coat the whole thing. This is milk paint right here. It's blue. It's made with casein protein, and then like dried out. So this is actually milk paint. Though it comes off, I'll tell you, like water-based paint that you would see like finger paint. It doesn't have a great finish. So I do have tongue oil. I think it has some boiled linseed oil mixed with it though. It was expensive pure tongue oil. Like this was expensive milk paint. I got it from the same company. So yeah, it's made with the casein protein. It's a food safe and like non-toxic paint. I used to have more colors than this. I have a can also I can mix it in. It's just you add water to it and then mix it and paint and apply it that way. But this is milk paint. So if you were curious about that. This is what I keep tongue oil. It's from the real milk paint company. This has tongue oil. It looks nasty and ratchet, but it is actually like the best stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this today. Probably sand it first, make sure that I've got all my holes shored up, and then finish it. That is tongue oil right there. A mixture of tongue oil and a citrus solvent. You can't use tongue oil by itself. You have to break it down or use a thinner. It's too thick to apply to wood without some sort of a solvent. So you guys, that's why you come here, because we encourage each other to learn new things. And I do have milk paint in the shop here. And Dad's workshop does have milk paint. I actually mixed it with concrete one time when I was making concrete bowls to see if I could get swirls in my concrete bowls. And it did do something. I can show you what it looks like.
All right, here's a bowl of concrete that I poured, and I actually added milk paint to the concrete mixture. It's Portland cement. You can see some little swirls of blue and stuff in there. I was kind of proud of this bowl. You can see a little bit here. I don't know how well the camera's showing it, but you can see little highlights of blue in there. I figured a milk paint, protein-based paint like that would probably set well with concrete. It didn't work exactly like I was hoping, but you see there is little bits of blue in there. So yeah, milk paint mixed with concrete.
That's, I love the crafty things. Like I try to think of things like that to do. What have I not heard someone do? You know, I was thinking about busting up chalk. You can take up like sidewalk chalk, meant for kids, crush it up and mix it with concrete, and maybe get some swirls in your concrete. Cause swirly concrete, it's hardly anything better looking than some swirly concrete. I love textures and visual textures too. This little blueberry nest, bluebird nest. Hope we get some bluebirds. Alright, so we are going to take this out. I'm going to figure out a way. I need to like prop something under here when I drill this, because I'm going to put a dowel in the front. It's possible like the male bird will perch on this dowel. This is my dream of it. Will perch on this dowel if you know, the female is in there taking care. Maybe this dowel will be convenient for them. They're not going to use it. They don't need one to get into the nest. I know that. Well, I got some blowout on that. Didn't get it as clean as I would like. Trying to sand away my blowout before you guys see it, because it's a shameful amount. How much dowel should there be? What do y'all think? An inch or so?
It's enough to grab and enough for a bird to stand on, I think. I mean, because I think it would make a good perch for the male or the female to sit on. It also helps me open the house. I can't open the house without it. So I need a dowel in there for that. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Well, Daniel, on the back of this one, it's almost flush. We can get it flushed pretty easily. And now it's flush. So if there's any bird that sits on the outside of this, at least I would think it would be a member of whatever family of birds is in this, you know. So bird flies in, they can land on this and go in. There's an air hole at the bottom. Maybe I should put one more air hole in. But definitely they like these because they're warm. And then we have that swinging door. It's tall because bluebirds like their nest tall. So that's what we're doing with this. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, where we have just, you know, kind of quickly threw together a bluebird house so that bluebirds can build a nest around my house. We like birds here. If you watch my shorts, I'm big on bird sounds. I like songbirds. I like all the different sounds they make. When I wake up in the morning, I hear them. It always brightens my day up. This is a bird bungalow for sure. Bluebirds need vertical space. So it has vertical space for them, and then you can change the nest out because bluebirds need a fresh nest every season. Raja, welcome. Welcome. Welcome Raja in the comments. Oh, you're a Turner. Excellent. Welcome Raja bin Gohana, a wood turner from India. Remember we talked about turners the other day? Turners are people who use a lathe, and they make wooden objects with a lathe. So that's their particular. What did I watch where somebody used a lathe? Oh, the guy who made the wood ice cream, Chardonnay. Shout out Chardonnay, friend of the program. Probably not here today, but Chardonnay. She put us on to a video of a man turning a wooden oak bowl, and then he made his own oak ice cream and he ate it out of the wooden bowl. Excellent video. I don't know how good the ice cream was, but excellent video. Well, definitely welcome, Roger. We got other woodworkers in here today. We had a Sawyer in here a little while ago, so now we've had a Sawyer and a Turner in here today. So we're getting all different varieties of woodworkers, and I love that. Appreciate that. You know, drop your channel or whatever in the chat so that people can subscribe to you if you do that. Definitely should have said that to the Sawyer too, but I didn't catch him before he left. But love everybody, all the different woodcraft people here. I'm just an armchair crafts person. You know, this is what I do for fun. So I like to see the professionals come in and give us their professional opinion about things. Roger, if you were just here, we were making a bluebird nest. Bluebirds like a deep nest, and you have to be able to change it out. So we used a little bit of dowels, kind of like a dowel hinge here. I'm sure you've worked with dowels multiple times, being that you're a turner. And so yeah, we got this little bluebird nest, and we're almost ready to finish it. Apply a finish to it. So I might actually pull the finish out. I want to put some shingles over this. This countersink right here doesn't look too good. Let me see if I can get that better. Maybe that's hitting another screw there though. I'll probably leave that alone. If I put this tung oil on here, the tung oil is not going to protect this plywood on the top. I think I should actually add beeswax and heat it up with a heat gun. And put it on here. I really think that's the best, most water resistant thing I've ever seen. Actually, I've never seen anything to that level. So let's try that. And then you go get some of that stuff. before we put these shingles on here, I'm gonna apply some of this beeswax. And I'm gonna come back with the heat gun. Like you guys saw me do the last couple of days, I'm obsessed with this now. And I'm gonna melt it down onto this surface. It's gonna make this like impermeable to water. I just want this plywood separate so quickly. I'm afraid if this gets wet, it's gonna be the end for it really quickly, really soon. So I'm gonna apply a lot of this beeswax to all the open pores of it. I'm gonna go get some more. So I decided against tung oil, even though Daniel did the research and found out that it's recommended to use tung oil and milk paint. Well, milk paint's not going to waterproof anything, I promise you that. And tung oil, it is very expensive and probably not as good a waterproofer as this beeswax is. So I'm going to go after this stuff with beeswax first. I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. And then I'll go after the body of the birdhouse. What I want is for it to be waterproof. That's what I want. Doesn't even matter if this sinks in that much, but we'll do this anyway. It's just on the surface. I just want to get it into the grain and apply more. It's sunk in up here. So like I said, every time you're applying finishes, and of course you can always ask an expert and fact check me, but when you're applying finishes to wood, you always want to apply the finish. A coat is applying it until it will not take the stain anymore, right? So you want to apply the oil until the surface is no longer going to take it anymore. And the reason that I use the heat gun on this is because the freezing point of this wax that I've come up with is very, very high. So it freezes at a warm temperature, which is kind of good because even in the hot sun, it will not melt off. It will stay waterproof. And for like cutting boards, it's like some of the better board butter I've ever seen. Better board butter. Better board butter. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells for sure. In a good way. Yeah, Daniel. You know, in a good way, because hydrophobia when it comes to like soil, if you're trying to do plants, which pretty soon we're probably gonna get into plants too, because my brother's getting his master gardener, and I'm trying to coax him into doing a pod or some sort of live stream. I should have gone after that mark I made right there first. But yeah, man, we'll eventually do plants in here too, because I'm a big plant guy. Flowers, vegetables, all of that. That was my original idea for a channel, actually. Was to do that. And on this end grain, like it's gonna really absorb easily into that. So, such a small item, man. Easy to stain or wax a small thing like this. This was a fun project. I'm not regretting this at all. I love this. And if you just join me, what I'm putting on here is a mixture of boiled linseed oil and beeswax. I think it's the best natural waterproof I've ever found or used personally in my life. Seems like beeswax does a great job of sealing things up. So it's going to be safe for the birds primarily. I don't want to use a polyurethane coat. Daniel looked up for us, friend of the show, Daniel. Daniel looked up what finish should we use for this, and it recommended milk paint, you know, AI. Recommended milk paint and or milk tung oil. Now, tung oil is very expensive and doesn't seal waterproof real good. I know I've put stuff outside as an experiment when I use tung oil as the finish on it to see how long it lasts. It lasts a little while. The sun and the weather get to it, and then it degrades and splits just like everything else. It's expensive, too expensive to use for that. So I think beeswax is a good happy medium, but you got to mix it down with something else. Tung oils, if you can mix it with tung oil, that's probably good. Get you some actual natural tung oil. I'm not going to say the name of the stores, but there are some big box stores that will sell a tung oil finish. It is not actually, it's a polyurethane that looks like, because tung oil doesn't have a color, so they can say tung oil finish and basically sell you a petroleum distillate, you know. And I'm not going to get into the politics, but anytime we can avoid using petroleum distillates and things like that, especially in something that an animal is going to be, or a person is going to be eating off of or living in, we should do that. Just my opinion. Seems reasonable. I got some more wax here. I want to make sure this is really coated well, even on this end grain. These sides. You basically just butter this stuff on at room temperature, a little bit warmer room temperature. It's kind of the consistency of, I don't know, probably like a stick of cold butter, to be honest. Or like shortening. You ever cooked? You're a cooking person. And it has no smell. You know, beeswax just smells like, you know, beeswax has a really inert kind of a smell to it. It's not an odor. Tung oil has a smell to it. Maybe linseed oil a little bit too.
Unplug the receiver, your audio's going in and out and in and out. Just missing every other phrase. You hear it.
No, I didn't hear it.
It's doing that. It's coming in.
Maybe the mic's time. All that stuff I said. Hey, babe. Let's put some on the bottom. What?
I mean, it's fine.
No, it's blinking.
Well, I unplugged it, but it wasn't. It's still doing it. I think it's more of a connection.
Oh, okay.
But the connection's good.
Audio issues right now we're dealing with those. Looks like we got a little splitting on that bottom board too. I definitely would go back and, I know y'all probably can't hear me. I would definitely go back and repilot some of those holes again if I could. This is kind of a learning process because I did this by ear just like I do everything. I didn't look at any plans. I just kind of looked at what they did and then came up with a plan in my head with the scraps that I had. J&J, which tattoo are you talking about? Yeah, paraffin wax is a petroleum distillate, right? But, I mean, I'm not saying don't use what you have, because this is Dad's workshop. We always say use what you got. But paraffin wax may not make as good a coating, maybe as beeswax. I know it's a more solid wax when it's at freezing, when it's like at room temperature. Paraffin wax is harder than beeswax. That's why most crayons are made out of paraffin wax. Is that the one she's talking about, the kids at the computers? I'm telling y'all, if you can hear me, This beeswax makes amazing waterproofer. So I hope you hear that if you hear anything today. Beeswax melted down. I've got video of it I can make so that you can see the process of taking the beeswax and melting it down and combining it with boiled linseed oil. But when you end up with, what you end up with is a fantastically waterproof finish. Now, there's gonna be water getting into this house, but that's how it is for birds. Birds are expecting that. What we want is a nice warm space that they can build their, and bluebirds build taller nests. So that's what we're working on right now. I can actually kind of see, I don't know if I got this side yet. Let me go after this side a little bit.
Sure if it was a guy, like even that was messed with the connection, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
But everyone's at very different levels, so we'll see.
Should I put the mic back on?
Yeah, we can.
I'm stepping on it. And that just jabbed me right in the foot. Whatever that was. I got broken glass. I'll see if that helps. Thanks, babe. Thanks, Miss Heather. Appreciate that. Wow. That's a good coffee right there.
Right now, I can do all those copies in here.
I put it on the wrong side.
Yeah, maybe now.
Check, check, check.
Okay, I would have thought.
Sorry about the neighbors. They constantly cut their grass. Cutting your grass is something you do once every week, once every 2 weeks in the summer. It is March. If you're cutting your grass twice a week, you're obsessed with cutting your grass. You got a problem. And it's a 1/4 inch high. There's nothing to cut. Okay, good. That's all they do. They cut grass. Like don't look at me when the grass is a 1/2 inch long and like I'm the neighbor. There goes the neighborhood. Don't look at me because you just cut your grass twice in a week, and I got little tufts in my yard. Don't look at me and tell me, or try to guilt me into cutting my grass twice a week down to 1/4 inch like you do. You got no grass. Why do you even grow grass if you're going to cut it to a 1/4 inch? You might as well just shave the whole yard off, scarify the whole thing, and turn it into dirt. Because that's what you got, a dirt yard. Sorry, it is what it is. I hate yards. Loving it. Loving it. Looking good too. Nice and waxy. And that wax will sink in too. So tomorrow it'll be hard. Like the wax will be cured. And whatever's in there, I could probably apply another surface. If you all see the stump today, it's really like much drier, much more solid. So yeah. Yeah, so congratulations to your neighbor Daniel. It's a complete douchebag. You gotta, he doesn't even live there. He works out of town, so he's got to come home. But you probably got a homeowners association. Hope I don't get non-monetized because I said douchebag. I should be allowed to say that. That shouldn't be within the words I can't say. It's like, how much do you need to cut your grass? I worked at a country club too, so I cut grass for 8 hours a day. Yeah, man, you got to leave patches of grass for the beetles and for the moths and the butterflies. The beetles are a vital part of the ecosystem. The birds eat them, the animals eat them, and the beetles won't come around. Now, I'm not talking about Japanese beetles, those are invasive, but the native beetles we have in this country, they like tufts of grass. So you got to leave some tufts of grass in your yard. Yards and lawns are one of the worst environmental things we got. We don't need yards. There's a million other things you could do. No one in the world would be starving if everybody grew food on their yard instead of grass. Just think about that for a second. Good. Clover is good. And it's edible to the animals. When we grow these grasses, uh, I like zoysia grass too because it's nice and fluffy. It feels good when you fall on it. So if kids are going to be playing, zoysia grass is great. But otherwise, like we are spending too much money, we're using too many chemicals, and we're using too much petroleum, keeping vast areas of a green plant that is there for what reason, alive. Permaculture. I used to watch this guy. There's a guy on YouTube has a very developed channel. He's got a place in Florida and a place in the Northeast, and all he does is in the summer he gardens in the Northeast. In the winter he gardens in his place in Florida. His whole property is a permaculture food garden, and it's a market garden. He sells his plants to the local restaurants and so forth, and they're really delicious. He does a great job. So, in my opinion, yards are a waste of space. I think there will be a revolution. It will happen in the next 10, 15, 20 years when food becomes scarce. Could happen anytime. Food can become scarce and become the currency at any time. It's quite scary. But knowing how to grow your own food, produce your own food, is an absolute survival skill. So, if people replace their yards with even 1/3 of their yard with a food-producing permaculture garden, they would be shocked at how much food would be homegrown, delicious food that they produce themselves. How many store trips were saved, and you save the gas, and you save the money, you eat healthier food. Everything in the world points to grow your own food, and throw the concept of yards out the window. We don't live in Levittown, New York. It's not 1955. We're not World War II veterans who need to have the same cookie cutter house as the person next to us. We can't come from a different world than that. Those guys wanted the American white picket fence life because they were over in Germany, freezing their asses off in the Battle of the Bulge, and they never wanted to be cold again, and they wanted to feel like they were in their warm house that they grew up in the turn of the century. That's what they wanted. Nowadays, that kind of feels a little soulless to a lot of us. The idea of a cookie cutter house, the idea of a cookie cutter life. Like, to a lot of us, that seems shallow and soulless. But to those guys who were had their life flash before their eyes, I can understand the desire for them to come back here and have their own little patch of grass and their own little sidewalk and their own little fence. And they put one bay on their house that's the same as their next door neighbors to make it look different, or they like it to look like their next door neighbors. So, anyway, yards are stupid. There you go. I vote no yards. feel like I've been on for a long time, but I've only been on for about an hour. How's everybody doing? All I did was, these came from the same thing I built the bed ladder from, by the way. I left the angle the same at the top. It's a 30-degree angle, I believe, 20 or 30 degrees. I have to measure with a protractor. So I just left those the way they were when I cut the top of the ladder. Then I took a piece of plywood that I was tracing out apples on. Somebody, if you were watching that live stream that I did that with. Oh, you got a mango tree. All right, J&J. That just gives me a huge tip that you are not living in the continental United States. J&J, you got to be in the Caribbean somewhere. Are you in Puerto Rico? Must be in Puerto Rico or in the Caribbean, because we can't grow mangoes in the continental U.S. Can they grow those in Florida? I don't think they grow in Florida or California. So mangoes. Ah, she's in Florida. Okay, I guess that's it. I guess they do grow in Florida. Yeah, I love a fresh mango off the tree. And those are delicious, definitely. So that shows that my plant knowledge, I need to step it up a little bit. I thought mangoes were like a completely, but I was in Puerto Rico and they had we were going to bring back a bunch of mangoes, but the mangoes had this Caribbean fruit fly on them, and the USDA like inspected our bags, because if the fruit fly gets to the United States, it'll like knock out a bunch of the fruit trees here in the US. So. But J&J, appreciate your contribution. Daniel, friend of the show. Who else do we have here today? It's pretty much J&J and Daniel running the chat today, and appreciate y'all both. We get ready to wrap it up. We worked on this birdhouse. It's for a bluebird, so it's tall. The front thing is hinged right here. We applied the wax to it also to waterproof it, so it's ready to basically go whenever we want to post it up. We put a drainage and an air hole in the bottom. It's quite large, so it should be able to, but we may be able to put one more drain hole in there. Hey, Robert G, welcome. We're just about to wrap it up, man, but you should check out the live, man. Friend of the show, Robert G. Appreciate you being in here. Yeah, so we built this little bluebird nest today, Robert. Got the right size hole for a bluebird. Got the right, this thing hinged and all that. Told them a million times. Everybody's heard that a million times. Had a sawmill guy come in. Appreciate the sawmill guy. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, see if he joins the Discord or if he pops back in. I might have to go back to the chat and check out his channel. So yeah, sawmill guy. We had a Indian wood turner pop in today. I need to have like these people mic up so we can. Oh, nice. Okay. Robert G says he's working on finishing up a walnut and oak keepsake box. Robert G, make sure you drop the pictures of what you're doing on the Discord so that we can all enjoy that. We love those kind of projects. There's a tab in there where it says like projects, current projects. Drop it in that tab. Is it real shellac? Because I feel like this beeswax stuff I came up with is just like shellac. It applies just like shellac. That's cool, man. You're gonna have to put that project up on the Discord. But as far as me, it's Dad's Workshop. Make sure you click the like and subscribe button. We love you so much. We're glad that you chose to be here of all places on planet Earth. Cut your grass, turn your yard into a food producing yard. That's my thing. I'm gonna be the Bob Barker of get rid of your yard. And turn it into food producing area. This is a birdhouse we built today on the live. Yeah, hit that Discord link in the bio. Robert G, join the Discord and drop that info on and show us your project that you're working on. But this is Dad's Workshop, and I appreciate all y'all. Love all y'all. Give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. Next week we'll be back, but it will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'll post it in the Discord. And J&J, you have a great night too. And Dad's Workshop, Oh, Robert G. It should be in the. It should be Discord link should be in the bio. Check my bio to grab that Discord link. Robert G. We want to see them pictures. Hug somebody you love and have a great night. Take care. I'm out.